Forgive me for the ending there. I don't know what I was doing. Steve Lukather, ladies and gentlemen. I am so excited to talk about an absolute hero, icon, Steve Lukather. And that there was a mashup of like my favourite solo he's ever done from Rosanna, obviously Toto song. I don't even know where to begin. The fact of the matter is, this is a bit of an anomaly I want to talk about, which is the kind of working backwards through heroes and legends, and how modern day heroes, anyway of mine, when I was in my heyday, and my main heroes, I didn't even realise how they were inspired through time by past legends before them, going right the way back. And that's what I want to quickly look at here. So you'll all be aware of the fact that one of my biggest heroes ever is Andy Timmons. And it's only after I was so into his music and I got his Ear Ecstasy 2, the Spoken and the Unspoken album, and I was just an absolute Andy Timmons fanatic. And then it was only like later on that I had an album, and again a friend of mine who's a drummer, he was a huge Toto fan, and he had like these tracks on when we were all living together years ago. And I heard this song, and it was I thought it was Andy Timmons on there playing these phrases, and I was like, oh my god, that's Andy Timmons. And because it was really like these sort of blues phrases. And I remember saying, oh, it's Andy Timmons, and my friend, Chris Nugent, he was a drummer. He is a drummer, still a badass drummer. He was like, no, mate, no, Steve Lukather, man. And I was like, what? And it's only after then, looking into it, I realised, of course I know Steve Lukather. I know all of, like, I've heard him for years. I just didn't realise it was him doing it. And I've gone through them all in, well, I've gone through a few in past records. Like, everyone knows. Don't get me started, I apologise. Anyway, but then I started to be a real fan of Steve Lukather. Yeah, I digress, but Andy Timmons has said, now we've got the internet and you have interviews and stuff, he's said what a hero of his Steve Lukather is. And it was the same with Dan Huff, who I was really, a huge fanatic of because of the Giant albums. And again, he followed directly in Steve Lukather's footsteps. And basically both of them, stole, well, they didn't steal, did they? They collected ideas. But isn't it amazing how I wouldn't have like Andy Timmons without, as he is anyway, without Steve Lukather's influence. Steve Lukather wouldn't be who he is without probably the Beatles, Larry Carlton, you see where I'm going, etc., etc. The Beatles wouldn't be who they are. And it happens especially with, even with gypsy jazz, right? This is a bizarre fact for you. You wouldn't have Metallica without Django Reinhardt. Serious. Because obviously you'll probably be aware of like James Hetfield's hero at the time, Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath, I'm sure it is, and then Motorhead as well and stuff. But Tony Iommi nearly gave up playing because he shaved off some of his fingers in an industrial accident. And it was only because a friend of his gave him a Django Reinhardt record, and he heard Django Reinhardt doing these kinds of things with just two fingers. I can't do it with just two fingers, come on. But he got inspired and was like, wow, I can't give up, I'm going to keep going. Hence, From that, we got Tony Iommi, we got Black Sabbath, we got Metallica, and then we got all the follow-on from there. So it's all down to Django Reinhardt, is what I'm saying. Anyway, I digress. I just want to really just get you to have a look at a couple of certain things by Steve Lukather, just for what a legend he is, because he's admitted he's spent most of his time in his career playing this kind of thing. Just doing rhythm and stuff like that. Everyone knows, you know, like the... I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, does it, that track? However, if you have a look at a couple of other things, you'll see that he's just done some absolute badassery playing. He really is one of the good... I mean, one of my favourite things is there's a track, Richard Marx, Playing with Fire. You've got to dig that out. You're not here for singing lessons, are you? Anyway, just look at that, throwing that into a rhythm part. Straight in there with the picking. I remember hearing that because my sister had the record and I put it on and be like, what is this? Because Richard Marx is very, you know, he used to sing all the power ballads and stuff. But then you got that going on. Oh, God, he used to absolutely blow me away. I was like, what the hell is that? Anyway, just to bring you on to this track I want to show you quickly. You're going to listen to it because it's not a monster Toto track. It's called, oh, bear with me, Love Has the Power. And it's a little bit of a, you know, it's like a swing vibe, shuffle vibe. Let me just make sure this is working properly. But just listen right here. This at the end, if you get to like 4 minutes 40, something like that, you've got all these licks in there, and I swore it was Andy Timmons, but it's not. It's badass Steve Lukather. Listen to this, if I can get it working. Oh, just listen to this bit. This phrase here. Oh! Now look at that right there. You've got to have a bit of a chorus on there, a bit of delay. Yeah. Do that a bit better. Just the fact that you've got the balls he has in his playing, like he's whacking those notes. And he'll overbend ever so slightly. Turn all that off. You got absolute acres of technique in there right there. But even this, I just want to show you. Okay, in G sharp here, but it's pentatonic, but the sequence. Something like that with a bend, but just look at that. Oh God, come on. I mean, isn't that epic? Instead of it just being like... Nah, that's too scalar. He's whacking pentatonics that fast. Oh, I love it. God, I love it. Anyway, I ramble on, but you have to look at Love Has the Power. Have a listen to those phrases at the end there. And, what was the other one? Oh, yeah, and Richard Marx, Playing with Fire. Just listen to it. And that's the thing. Steve Lukather, my favourite thing, not only is he a monster musician, you know, singer, songwriter, he's written the absolute epic, but he's just got such power and control over the instrument when he has to. And that's the thing, that all-out, balls, straight punch in the face. I love it. Anyway, I've rambled on enough, so look forward to loads of Steve Lukather stuff coming up eventually. I've just got to dig it all up. So exciting. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.